And let's talk about Adam Lambert. So Adam Lambert, y'all know, has a new album coming out in next week. Because Madonna's releasing her album this week. He's releasing his album next week, which is smart because he knew not to go up against the Queen of Pop. But anyway, so he has a new self-titled album coming out on the 10th, I believe. And he's been out here on the promotional trail. And he also did an interview where he called out toxic masculinity. Yeah, I'm saying it like Billy Porter in an episode of Pose. In the gay community, the homosexual, as I like to say, community. So Adam Lambert is calling out the issues within the Levitical Plus community in a new interview British podcast host Josh Smith. The legendary vocalist poked fun over the various labels used to stereotype gay men. He said, I was actually a twink at one point in time, so I'm so far from being a twink now. I have a dad bod at this point. I'm a daddy. Child, first of all, you don't have a dad bod. I mean, yeah, you're 44, but you don't have a dad bod. At one point, you did have a dad bod, which would be kind of bearish. But then you lost all that weight real quick, where some people think you was on the Ozempic, and then you kind of, people thinking that you may have had some work done on your face too, because he did say in a recent interview that I watched that he has all these different creams. Like when people come into his room, they're like, "What the hell is all this?" He said he has bags of cosmetic stuff that he walks around with that he just puts all over his tables or whatever that he's putting on his skin because he's like, "I'm not getting any younger," and so he's always looking for anti-aging thing. I'm like, "Sir, we're around the same damn age." First of all, well, I guess maybe because you're white, a lot of white people, y'all need all these anti-aging situations. Those of us who are born with actual melanin in our system, we don't got to worry about walking around with 80,000 goddamn creams and injecting all this fix-a-flat in our faces to maintain our youth. Don't get me wrong, I will put some creams and stuff on my face, but I'm not saying like I'm just gonna be out here trying to look for all these anti-aging situations. Maybe one day I'll go and have them pull this back in a knot in the back of my head, so that way I'll look a little even more Asian. So, um, he added that while he was once called a bear and also labeled a queen in the past, well, I mean, he did sing lead for Queen. He's recently heard people calling him king, which surprised him in its implication of masculinity. But by age alone, I'm a dad. Now, Lambert also spoke candidly about toxic masculinity within the queer community and why visibility has become double-edged sword. He said, we're already dealing with our own shame around who we are, especially gay men. I think the reason why gay men get it worse than gay women is because toxic masculinity. It's because society expects men to act a certain way, to look a certain way. And if you don't, you're not a man or you're not enough of a man. People are so afraid. And I think that that's where a lot of guys who are queer have to come in and just be like, you know what? Being yourself is just being man enough. That you perpetuating this whole straight acting type of ideology to me is what it is, straight acting, or what you think that straight people act like. And it's sort of like, just be yourself. Don't sit up in here and worry about what other people think. If you want to be, if you're a masculine dude that wants to wear nail polish, go ahead and wear that. But then again, you're going to piss off that closet case bussy mad ass who always worrying about what people out here wearing, what they doing, if they got nail polish on, if they got a little makeup on. Like, he always worrying about what other men is doing. You never hear him about anything else. And that's why we keep saying, your ashy ass need to come out the goddamn closet. Now, Lambert worries that homosexual men are afraid to step out of the crowd, from the crowd, and to be their authentic selves. With the hostile political climate against the Levitical Plus community rising, the Queen frontman wants more originality amongst his queer peers. And people have to also realize that this was the time, like when people are coming at us, that was the time we were being individuals and we fought against all the anti whatever when we came out and being ourselves. I think that may have played into one of the reasons why he moved to New York, because he was saying that the thing with New York is like, I could be out walking my dog and people just randomly come up and start a conversation, and he liked that actual connecting with people. And then there's a lot of people, like when you look in New York, we have a lot of people out here with their, and yeah, you have your sheeps that'll sit up out here now because the Knicks won. Everybody all of a sudden is a Knicks fan. Um, everybody out here when they Jalen Brunson 11 jersey or their Josh Hart jersey or the Ananobia jersey or whoever jersey they got. But everybody out here now wearing a Knicks jerseys because they just won. And everybody's got their uniform they like to wear. And then you have those that like to stand out. I've been seeing all my gays out here recently, and that I told you crop tops done made a comeback. I'll be wearing them too. So the gays out here wearing crop tops with their denim jeans and all that other stuff. So yeah, everybody's got their own individual style and living in their truth. And it always seems to be the butch queens or the femme queens that are ones that feel more of not afraid to be their authentic selves, rather than the gays who try to perpetuate this idea of what masculinity is. Now he also worries that gay men are afraid to step out from the crowd to be their authentic selves. He said, I saw a picture the other day and I was like, geez, they all look the same. It's funny how I just said that. I get a little freaked out by that scene. I'm like, does anybody want to look different? Does anybody want to express something that's singular? That's their own thing to help them stand apart from everybody. People don't want to stick out. They want to look weird. I mean, they don't want to look weird. Isn't that kind of boring? The American Idol finalist is also encouraging anyone living in fear to stay strong and optimistic despite some of the hateful rhetoric being spread online. He said it's scary and it's frustrating, but it's going to blow over. There's such a shame in anything over other than a masked man than that all these guys are assimilating into in order to be validated or in order to be desirable. And that is true because you see a lot of these, these muscular queens that be coming out. It's like, child, we know you a whole sissy. Who you fooling? It's like, child, we know when a soul's been clocked. We can smell y'all a mile away. So, who do you think you're fooling? In the words of Cher, who do you think you're fooling? You know that song? Was that from her Believe album? Anyway, so shout out to Adam Lambert. He said that in his what interview was this? There was some interview that he did on it was on YouTube. Let me It was Josh Smith's Great Chat Show. That's what it was that he sold on. And anyway, his album Adam comes out next week. As I said, I could just want to say July 10th, but it says here July 9th. So yeah, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you agree with what Adam had to say in regards of like gays and assimilating and trying to be more masculine and trying to conform to a certain uniform look where you don't want to stand out? And this fact that, yeah, I remember the days of like when I was growing up in New York, luckily for me, I was always out here experimenting with different looks and this, that, and the other. And luckily, I've never had to worry about being bashed, but um I've always kind of marched to the beat of my own drummer and but I ain't gonna sit up here and say like I've never had moments where of conformity and worrying about what other people think. But there comes a certain point in your life that you have to just kill the noise, fuck what everybody else gotta say, and you can't sit up in here worrying about what other people think because next thing you know, life done passed you by. You didn't really get to express yourself the way you wanted to, and then your good years is behind you. So do you, sis, or do you, niece, as I like to say. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments.